am 54 years old as of today. And it's an interesting contradiction because I'm actually in pretty damn good fitness health. Any blood work I ever have done just passes with flying colors. But at the same time, I'm tired all the time and I just feel every second of it. But that's all right. I like to calculate how far I've traveled every year on my birthday. At the speed that the sun goes around the speed the Earth goes around the sun, I have traveled a total of 31.7 billion miles. At the speed the sun travels through the galaxy, I've gone 243 billion miles. And at the speed the Milky Way moves, I've gone 607 billion miles through the universe. A little bit of scale. Our entire solar system is, I think it's out to the orbits of Neptune and Pluto, something like 12 billion miles in diameter, to give you a little sense of how far you've gone, how far I've gone in comparison to the size of the solar system. Almost seems like not very far, but in comparison. But that's it, 607 billion miles. Here we have Sordaneon by L.L. Stephens. So, the things I liked about this, you have the civilization where there's some kind of machine-like thing that has permeated their civilization. And there are people who are, it's like their blood is sort of infected with it. And they are considered like the highborn people. But their nation has been kind of semi-conquered. Everybody's taken control of them. They have political prisoners. But the state itself still exists sort of on its own, but they are watched over and sort of ruled over. And this fellow here, Sordaneon, that's who this is about. He's 15 or 16 years old when this starts, and he's got a bit of an attitude problem. Now, the author does something really interesting. He starts off with Sordaneon getting beaten up by seemingly some kind of bully, and his friends. Now, this is a big no-no because when you beat up, this is like beyond royalty. You can be put to death over that. And as the pages turn, we find out that this guy manipulated and was bothering the other guy and picking at him and poking on him. And finally, he just got sick of it and the guy attacked him. And as the pages go on, we start to see that Sordaneon here, he is really interesting in waking up the machine, this thing that permeates everything, to take his power back and rule. And this other kid that attacked him, you hear him doing things like, well, we need equality for everybody. And so you seem to think there's a juxtaposition where you think this is going to be our protagonist, and maybe he still is. But he's not seemingly a good guy, even in the company of other people who are in charge. He's got a very big attitude problem, and he doesn't respect anybody, even the people in his own family. And yet this other kid was the one we think was going to be basically a villain throughout. It sounds like the author here started out with the villains as your protagonist. But I didn't get that far enough. Another thing I liked about this really good story. He is married off to someone's daughter, and she's, oh God, how old was she? She was at least 20, and he's only 15 or 16. And she finds him reprehensible and wants nothing to do with it. But he says, look, I'm going to be your husband in name only. This is just to join our nations. I'm going to leave you alone. And she's like, great, I don't even want anything to do with you. And there's this dynamic between them like that I like. It's usually this young girl married off to this older man to join the countries, and it's the opposite. And he comes and pays a visit even, and she's like, what the hell are you doing here? And I wanted to read more of that. The problem with the book, this is the second one in a row, Sloggy slog time. If it had been more of the things that I just mentioned, fine, I would have gone on, probably enjoyed this, but it's just too inane. It's not even that long a book, and it was too long. I didn't make it. I made it to page 130 something, and I was enticed by a few things, like the stories I just mentioned, but just too much conversation outside of those things. Out of 135 pages, what I liked might have been 60, and they could have chopped the rest of it in half, and maybe I would have continued on. So this, a big did not finish for me, and what was, it's supposed to be the first of 5. Maybe if it was been the first of 3 and all the stuff that's taken out to make up 2 more books is gone, this would have been shorter and better, and just not for me. Didn't like it. People are raving about this thing too. This is 4 and 5 stars. Not for this guy. They kept comparing the politics stuff in it to Game of Thrones. Now, I did not read Game of Thrones books. I did see the television show and liked it. And it was easy to absorb all that stuff, but it wasn't in this, and didn't care for it. And conversations about, oh yeah, remember the one cousin who did the thing? Oh yeah, that thing. And then it just blah, 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 blah. So I dropped it. Not for me. I will not continue that series. So I didn't want to start. This is Saturday. I usually drop videos on Monday. So I didn't want to jump on the next one soon enough. So I had a little go-between. I won't bore you with the details, but at work today, I had an extra hour where I was just going to be sitting. And so I thought, let me go over my shelves. And I found this old thing. This comes from one of the makers of Dungeons and Dragons, Gary Gygax. It's called Sagard the Barbarian, and this is it's a game book. You read it, but you play through it. You could use dice in some ways, but it has like these numbered pages that aren't the pages 1, 2, 3, 4 in order, and you use them and just flip to a random one and use those results, and you do battle with various monsters. In this case, he's going to go get this ice dragon. And make no mistake, this is just utterly simplistic. It's got some nice little descriptions, though. I actually really like, but this is simplistic. It compares to, I went from one extreme to the other as far as what to read just for the day, just to fill in an hour. I did not play the game portion. I just read through to assume I'd win, and got to the end. The cover is by Frank Frazetta, not Frank Frazetta, or Richard Corbin, and there's a couple. These are not the original covers, I think. I think there are other covers done by other artists, but those are by Richard Corbin, the late great Richard Corbin. His Den series was reprinted, and I got all those this past year. But a little something silly to fill in the time. But next week, Halloween. This is my Halloween thing. Edgar Allan Poe illustrated tales. I have never read Poe. I mean, I know, Quote the Raven, nevermore, but never read it. What was Pit and the Pendulum? That's a movie I've seen parts of and everything. So he's one of those things that is so amazingly popular that you can't help but hear about it, but I myself never read it. So I am giving Poe a go for the very first time. Sprung from the shadowed recesses of Edgar Allan Poe's imagination, these 19 tales of mystery and the macabre testify to the brilliance of their author's dark artistry. Each story is colorfully illustrated by the classic artwork of Harry Clarke, in whom Poe found one of his most sensitive and sympathetic interpreters. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought maybe the illustrations were more modern. So we're getting older illustrations in this. I'll show that off a bit next time. And that's going to be it. So I'm going into a classic. We're right in the middle of the month, and got a couple ideas what I'll read after that. But no, you think they're doing it. Now off on to Edgar Allan Poe for the first time. That's it. Thank you very much. See you next week then. Bye-bye now. Happy